Hello everyone, and welcome to today's Excel tutorial regarding financial functions in Excel and why they're very useful. So I'm going to start off by entering in some data that's found in the textbook. Alright, so some of you are definitely taking GB 112 or took it last semester, so you know that in order to calculate using the time value of money, you need the present value, the future value, the interest rate, the number of periods, and the payment. So you'll notice that from the titles that I've put in here, some of those values can kind of be inferred. The first one is that the interest rate per period is your interest rate. So we're going to call that the rate. The total number of payments is going to be the number of periods, so that's going to be your N. And the loan amount is the present value. And of course the monthly payment is going to be the payment. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and enter some values in here. And the interest rate, we're going to have 6% annually. We're going to have monthly payments, so 12 payments per year. So the interest rate per period is going to be equal to the annual interest rate divided by the number of periods. Right, and I'm going to go ahead and make that a percentage because we like that. But ooh, that's not what I wanted. There we go. Okay. We're going to say it's a 20-year home loan. So the total number of payments is going to be total number of years times the payments per year. Alright, so 240. And let's say you took out a $200,000 mortgage. Okay. So finally, in order to determine the monthly payment, we're going to go to our nifty financial functions. And we're actually going to calculate the payment. Payment. Okay, so you'll see that this dialog box pops up, and we have to enter a few things in order to get our answer here. So the first thing we have to enter is the rate. And the observant of you out there will notice that we happen to have a rate right here. So let's go ahead and click that. For the number of periods, we have that as well. And the present value, look, we happen to have that too. Alright, so now all we have to do is press OK. And there is our monthly payment. Now obviously we're not going to be paying negative $1,400, but from our perspective, from an accounting perspective, it's an outlay, right? So it's a negative amount of money for us. Alright, so another neat thing about Excel too is that we can use it just as the regular financial calculator. So I believe this is or these are the headings that will come up on the buttons on your financial calculator. So if we say this equals the, whoops, this is the present value, and the rate is going to be whatever we put in for the interest. Number of periods is going to be whatever we put in there, and the payment is whatever we put in here. Future value, we can throw that in there as well, and say OK. And for this one, do the same thing. So we're going to use the future value function with the rate, the number of payments, the amount of each payment, and the present value. Okay. Circular reference warning. I'm going to go ahead and say OK for that now. So it's saying that these two cells rely on each other. I think that should be all right. Well, we'll have to see as we continue. So now that this is all done, we should be able to put in the same numbers that we had from the previous section. So I'm going to say, so, alright, so here's where that circular referencing is becoming a problem. So can I just type in 0? Okay, there we go. So type in 0. And there you go. Look, we've got the same number as before. So basically this acts as your financial calculator for anything, any sort of time value money thing. So there are two more interesting functions in Excel that I'd like to draw your attention to before we finish it up here. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this, and we're going to put that down here as well. Okay, so one of the interesting things is called it's a P payment function, and what it does is it calculates how much of a given payment has been put towards paying off the principal. So I'm going to go ahead and use the exact same data that we have for the previous example, except I'm going to use PPMT, and we're going to see how much of that $1,400 is put towards paying off the principal, and the rest is interest. So I'm going to go to our financial functions again, and I'm going to scroll down until I see PPMT right there, and it's going to prompt me for the same values again. So there's my rate is that one, period is, ooh, did I do the wrong thing? Okay, so the period is simply what period that we're looking at. So there's 240 periods, so let's say we're looking at the middle period. Actually, let's look at the first one. So it's the first period of the 240. And the present value we're going to put in right there, and the future value is $0. Okay. So we're going to hit OK. So look at that. Only $432 of our first payment is actually going towards paying off the principal. Now, another thing on the other side of that is another type of payment function called IPMT. And this one should show us how much of that same payment is going towards interest. So in a perfect world, and assuming that I did my math right here, these two should sum up to the original payment. So we're going to go ahead and put in our values here, and I'm going to use the same period, the first period, of 240. The present value was 200,000, and the future value was 0. So if I hit OK, that looks about right, I think. So $1,000 of that first payment is going to pay off the interest. And I'm just going to do a quick check here because I'm pretty sure these add up, but we'll just double check. And look at that, it's the exact same as our payment. So, did my math right, and the functions work, which is great. Okay, well, I think that's all I really wanted to show you for this part of this portion of our Excel tutorials at the CIS Sandbox. Thanks for paying attention, everybody, and I hope to see you around the lab. All right, take care, guys. Bye-bye.